Hello everyone. Lot of students are still facing confusion about what type of questions will be asked from the new criminal laws in AIBE 19 exam. In this lecture, I am going to be discussing with you 5 types of questions which can come in this year's paper from the new criminal laws. Definitely watch the video till the end because I am going to be discussing for each of these type of questions that can come in the exam, what are the tips you should remember. So if you understand the 5 types, remember the tips that I am giving you for each of these 5 types, it will become very easy for you to prepare, and also in the exam hall, while you are sitting in the exam hall and solving the questions, it will be very helpful. So let's get into the video. The first question we have right now on the screen is simple question number 1. And we can expect this type of questions a lot in this year's paper. At least 2 to 3 questions of this pattern we can expect. Section 375 of IPC is now dash of BNS they are asking. So they have given you the old section number and asking you for the new section number. This is one of the most simplest and the most possible type of question you can expect. To solve this question, very simple. Within 10 seconds, you can solve this question using comparative table. Comparative table you call it, comparative charts you call it. Any publisher new Bare Act you take, you will see that at the beginning of the Bare Act, you will find the comparative tables. Now, I'll show you for an example how the comparative table is, and using that we will solve this question. For example, you see, this is a comparative table in which on the left hand side they have given Indian Penal Code and all the sections under Indian Penal Code. Now for the same offense of kidnapping under BNS, which is the new law, what is the relevant section number is given on the right hand side, right? So like this type of comparative charts you will find for all the subjects, BNS, BNSS and BSA. Now in our question, for the current question, we need to find section 375 of IPC, which is offense of rape. Now that section has now become what section? You don't have to by heart. You can use the chart. Section 63 is now the new section for definition of rape under BNS. So very simply, within 10 seconds, I got with 200% clarity. My answer in this question is what? Section 63. So coming back to the question, the right answer will be option C in this case. Now, let's go to the second type of question. This is little different and little difficult from the first type. Why? Here also you can use, in the second type of question also you can use your comparative chart, but clearly the old section number is not mentioned. If you just see here, in the first question, the old section number has been clearly mentioned, section 375 IPC. But in the new question, the second question, the old section number is clearly not given. They are asking for the new section number under BSA, but they have not given the old section number. Rather, what they have done, they have given the concept name. They are saying res gestae concept is covered under which section under the new law. To answer this question, you should first have basic knowledge that ma'am already taught us in the lectures, that Indian Evidence Act, section 6 Indian Evidence Act deals with res gestae, which is important question. Like this, ma'am has already taught us this information you should have. Then you will use the comparative chart because now you know the old section number. Now you use the comparative chart. Now you also open and use it. You will find the answer to be section 4. You just open BSA Bare Act. In that, in the first page itself, you will find the comparative chart. Using the comparative chart, you can do this question. But you can do this question using comparative chart only if you have basic understanding, basic knowledge that res gestae. What is res gestae? Under which section under the old law res gestae is given? This much you should know. Okay. Now, moving on. Let us go to the third type of question. This type of question again can be asked for all of the new laws. This type of question is where they are asking what has been removed or what has been added. This is comparative question. what was there in CRPC which is now removed, or what was not there in CRPC which is now added, what was not there in Evidence Act which is now added. Like these questions are very, very common. They will come for the exam. Now, you tell me simply, if you want to know what has changed, it is important for you to first understand what was the original law. So, a lot of people, whoever are under this myth that I don't have to study old law, only new law I will study. Please don't be under that myth. You will not understand anything in new law. You will not be able to answer all of these questions if you do not study the old laws properly. So that's why in the course, in the full course for AIB that I am teaching, I cover both old laws and new laws in a comparative approach, and that is the only approach in which you should be studying, because without understanding what the law originally was, you will not understand acha, what is the change, what is the addition, what is the subtraction. You're not going to understand it. So for the third type of questions, which are very, very possible, very much predictable that they will come for this year exam, please make sure you understand old versus new difference. Okay, so if you want to study under my guidance and for in a easy manner, in a less amount of time, study for AIBE 19 including the new criminal laws, you can check out our course. How the course will be, that I have clearly shown in the video. That video also I'll link it here. You go watch that video also. Okay, now here coming to this question, what is the change that has happened, what has been removed? This is a conceptual question which you have to study before exam and go. Answer is Metropolitan Magistrate Court is now removed. If you have BNSS Bare Act, okay, you may have BNSS Bare Act, but this Bare Act alone is not sufficient for you to answer this type of question, because you will end up spending lot of time, but you will not be able to find answer for this type of question if you don't know the concepts, saying, acha, this is the concept under CRPC, this is the concept under BNSS, this is the change you should understand. Okay, now moving on to category 4 and 5, type 4 and 5 questions. Type 4 and 5 questions are actually those questions where the answers won't change. Section 1, 2, 3, type 1, 2, 3, the first 3 type of questions that I discussed, these are all based on what are the changes. Now, whatever I am discussing, type 4 and type 5 are those questions where the answers won't change. If you're talking about the old law or if you're talking about the new law, the answers won't change. For example, see this question. They are saying A is there, okay, one person is there, he's working with a hatchet. Hatchet is like an axe, okay. There is a wooden part and there is a metal. While he was working, this metal part, it just broke and it went and hit some other person. Now, in the question they are asking, if there was no want of proper caution, meaning if there was no negligence on anybody, is this an offense or not? This is actually an accident. He was doing his job with the axe. Unfortunately, the axe broke. The metal part went and hit somebody else. These are all accidents because there was no negligence. So the answer for this question under IPC is option C, not an offense. Now, if the same question which was asked in AIB 17 and 18 can also be asked this year in AIB 19. Now, this question, if it is asked under BNS also, the answer will still remain the same. The answer is still not an offense, option C only. So, what is the tip number 4 that you have to remember? That for concept-based questions, wherever concept or principles of law are being asked, the answer, there is no change. Category 1, type 1, type 2, type 3 change will be there. But type 4 question, where they are asking based on a principle, where they are asking based on a concept of law, there is no change. It is not an offense under IPC also, not an offense under BNS also. If you can understand this very clearly in the exam, you will not be confused. Should I think in terms of IPC? Should I think in terms of BNS? This confusion you will not have. Coming to the last type, type 5, which is based on case laws. What is it? Based on case laws. Here also you should remember, the case laws will not change irrespective of the law. So, for example, in this case, they are talking about section 125 CRPC. Now, even though today section 125 CRPC is not there, it is replaced by BNSS, but what the particular case law has said is still going to remain the same. So, for example, in this question, Section 125 of Criminal Procedure Code is secular in character. This statement has been said by the Supreme Court in Shah Bano Begum case, which is option C. So the answer here is going to be option C only. The law in terms of CRPC and BNSS has changed, but what the particular case law has delivered, that won't change. Okay, so if you can remember these 5 types and understand what has changed and what has not changed in the laws, it will become very easy for you to clear the exam. So in the full course that I was telling you, I have covered all of these changes in a comparative approach, old law and new law, along with lot of practice questions. Some of the practice questions we have discussed here. So if you are interested in joining the course and studying under my guidance in the short amount of time for AIBE 19, you will find the details in the description box and in the pinned comment.